second.
All right.
And like I said, I talked to the governor. Governor was busy at the time frame. He might pop on. Sister Yakita said that she's busy traveling. You know, she's dealing with her husband, taking care of her husband,
Yeah.
demonstrating Act 6. I'm gonna ask you, Mo, do you have a way to fix your camera so that way you vertical and not the other way? Okay, good. Because this is going online, and I just want to make sure everybody can see it. That's all. I'm gonna end up. Normally, what I do, Islam, brother. Normally, what I do is I videotape the live stream here, right? And then after I get done videotaping the live stream, then I put them on YouTube. Brother Perez, I'm getting a lot of feedback on your phone. Can you mute your line for me?
Sure.
And you too, Brother Walker, can you mute your line for me? Okay. Gratitude. Thank you both. Okay. So, all right, we're going to get started here in just a few. So I'm putting everything together. I got my watch here to make sure that I stay on time and everything like that. Give me a brief. I'm just trying to... You know, it's always funny, man, right when you get ready to want to do everything, then everything else pops up on you. But it's just, I work these double shifts, Mo, because I be driving and stuff. So by me being on my own schedule, it's a challenge to try to make sure I get all my rest and then have time for the Moors. So, which is most important. Give me a brief here. All right. With everything I do, I always, you know, of course, for me, I want to say Islam to everybody. I want to thank you all for viewing and thank you all for listening. Welcome to our virtual temple, temple number 13. We are live on Instagram and also on WhatsApp. If you're looking to proclaim your nationality, just simply DM me in my inbox and I'll be more than happy to point you in the right direction so you can take your classes. Online virtual classes, the Moorish American National Republic, and there is actually a website, www.moorishamericannationalrepublic.com, and you can make an application for citizenship. There are actually 3 classes that you must take, and you also must participate in the naturalization ceremony that takes place once a year in Baltimore, Maryland. The classes will generally take you 8 months to complete in order for you to gain citizenship into our Moorish American National Republic. The first class that you will take is called the Be It Known class. The first class you will actually take is called the Warning class. And the Warning class is the class where you will learn about the prophet and his prophecies and his divine plea to the nation. The second class you will take is called the Be It Known course. And that is simply just letting you know who the prophet is and his divine authority. And then the last class you will take is called the Nationality and Identification Card course. That's really where all of your 2 main previous courses come together, because a lot of temples, what they do is you join their temple for about a week or a couple of weeks or maybe even 30 days. And then what they do is they issue you a nationality card. But then possibly what happens, you lose your nationality card, or the temple goes defunct and you don't have a way of getting another nationality card or knowing how to still prove that you are a Moor. So this is the importance of the Moorish Bureau of Vital Statistics that was set up by the Dingle brothers. The Dingle brothers went to the Selective Services System and they set up a Moorish National Bureau of Vital Statistics to have all the Moors registered. And so by that, this is how we constitute who we are according to Act 6. And this is the man here that I wanted to show you all. His name is Brother Richardson Dingle, and he actually had his younger brother. His name is Timothy Dingle. I'm going to show this to you Moors as well. I'm actually on WhatsApp, and then I'm actually on Instagram. So I'm toggling between two systems here. Okay, this is the picture, Moors. I don't know if you all can. Let me set this down for a brief and then try to bring this back in. Can y'all? I don't know if y'all can even see that. It's probably not even coming in on the screen. Yeah, you can't even see it, but I couldn't find my other picture. But I was trying to, I got all these pictures around here, man. And I got all my stuff so scattered, I couldn't see it. But I know the viewers online can see it. But this is a picture. You'll be able to see it on the playback. This is a picture of Richardson Dingle here. Okay. You'll be able to see it on the playback. And I'm getting ready to give you a demonstration of who he is and everything like that once we open up the temple, okay? All right, so just give me a break. Okay, Moors, we getting ready to continue. But before we do, I just need to make sure I plug all of this in. On one aspect of it, I have a good battery usage, and then on this phone I only got 15% battery life, so I'm always having to figure out which phone has what, and then being able to go in fully like I want to. Okay, we just about together here, and pardon me because I know it seems like every week I'm going to and fro, but when you're trying to do a YouTube live stream and trying to get it all together, I really need an actual staff to put it in. So here we go, Moors. Here we go. All right. And Moors, you look great. You look great. Brother Perez, thank you for coming. All right. And Brother Walker as well. This brother actually came to the naturalization ceremony, and I'd like for you to share your experiences too toward the end of the call so the brothers can actually see. Let me let the viewers see who you are real quick. Brothers can see Brother Walker here. Okay, that's Brother Walker on the right there. Okay, and that's Brother Perez. Okay, so these brothers here, Brother Perez has been around for a while. I've been knowing him for a few years. I just met Brother Walker at the naturalization ceremony, so the brother actually came to it. So I'm just letting y'all know that demonstration, okay? So let me go ahead and get our temple open so we can go ahead and perform our duties. Okay? Salvation, Allah, unity, the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and Bylaws, Act 2, in part. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Circle 7, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Drew Ali, by the guiding of his Father God Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from his sinful and fallen stage of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his Father God Allah. I will now take a brief reading from chapter 2, Education of Mary and Elizabeth in Zoan, Egypt. I'm going to do ayat 6 through 8. Now Mary and Elizabeth were marveling much because of their deliverance. Elihu said, "It is not strange. There are no happenings. Law governs all events. From olden times it was ordained that you would be with us in this sacred school and be taught." First I rise, giving all praise, gratitude, and thanks to the Almighty Father God Allah. I am the chairman of the Grand Sheikh of this portion of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine and National Movement, Incorporated, number 13, Indianapolis, Indiana. Our headquarters is in Baltimore, Maryland, and our Grand Sheikh and Solicitor General is Grand Sheikh Joel Bryden Bay of the Moorish American National Republic. I give all praise, gratitude, and thanks to the Almighty Father God Allah, and I give honors to the illustrious Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I also give honors to the forerunner of the Prophet, the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. And as always, I give honors to both flags. First, I give honors and respect to our Moorish American flag, which is over 10,000 years old. It is a red flag with a 5-pointed green star in the center. And those 5 points represent the highest 5 principles known to man, which stand for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And I also give honors to Old Glory, which is the Star-Spangled Banner, which it begins in red, but it also ends in red. We give honors to that flag, for it sustained us while we slept. I give honors to all Moorish literature, and I give honors to our grand body on this site. I give honors to Brother Miller Bey. I give honors to Brother Samad Islam. I give honors to Brother Grand Governor Frank Maddox Bey, Sheikh Sister Satora Sims Il. I give honors to Brother Perez Il for on this site. And I give honors to Brother Walker. And I give honors to all of you who honor the House of Drew Islam. It is customary in our due and ancient form that before we begin any meeting, that we stand and face the east. All of those who wish to pray with us may do so. If not, please stand in silent benediction, raise our minds to our highest heights in thought, and repeat after me the Moorish American prayer. 2 on the right and 5 on the left. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Drew Ali, Islam. Okay, Moors. At this time, I will continue with the reading of opening up of our divine constitutions and bylaws, and followed by reading our questionnaire and additional laws for Moorish Americans on pages 7 and 8. Islam. Salvation, Allah, Unity. The Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitutions and Bylaws, Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended into his Father God Allah. For that cause Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. We are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are not Negroes, color folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must proclaim their nationality. Pardon the body. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet Noble Drew Ali through the guidance of his father God Allah. Noble Drew Ali, founder, Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet Noble Drew Ali, his holy prophet Drew Ali. Amen. Islam. Okay, Moors, I will now take a reading. From our Quran questionnaire. Okay. This is our questionnaire here. And I'm going to take a reading from pages 7 and 8, Moors. Questionnaire and additional laws for the Moorish Americans by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Act 1. Grand sheikhs and governors and heads of all temples, all businesses. Each said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali before acting upon by any members. Let it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the members to sacrifice finance, etc., that will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under heavy restriction, etc., by the Prophet of the Grand Sheikh. Act 2. All members are to attend their adept meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around in their meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second he will be fined $1, which will go on your emergency fund. If member is working, his monthly dues must be paid, and if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it takes finance to uplift a nation. Act 3. It is lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid me in saving the nation, and if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch you. Let it be he or she according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as I have the power invested in my hands, and I will have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire, and let every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school comes the guiders of the nation. At this time, Moors, I make a motion that we waive to read Act 6 and Act 7, for they are the same in nature and in character as the divine constitutions and bylaws. Can I get a second? Islam, Moors, can I get a second? Okay, Islam, gratitude. I got a second. Okay, gratitude. All right, Moors, our meeting is now officially open. It's good to see you all. First thing I wanted to talk about before we get started is what transpired at our national convention, our naturalization ceremony. Wow. I'm going to show y'all some of the cool things that I picked up. I picked up this really nice Moorish American t-shirt. Can y'all see that? This is why it is so important, Moors, that we go to our conventions and go to our naturalization ceremonies. Check that out, man. This is nice. Brother by the name of Roy Bay, he's our national spokesperson. They had these at their table. His queen. Now that's nice. I like that. And then it also got a beanie to go with it. Okay? Got a beanie to go with it. Now that's sharp, man. So you know when it's fall time. So when the winter time comes, I'm gonna be ready for that one. Now the other thing is, I don't know, we actually got a brother. You know, we talk all the Moorish science, but do we actually get to see Moorish science in action? Well, we got a brother out of Detroit, Michigan. I think he's in Detroit. He might be in another part of Michigan, but I know he's in Michigan for sure. I'm not sure if it's Detroit. But he has More Herbs Company. Okay, this is called More Herbs. And I picked up a fat burner and some headache medicine from the brother. This is called More Herbs. He got all kind of herbs. Healthy, organic, medicines and things like that to get you in line. Now, his website is www.moorherbs.com. And this says here he is out of Detroit, Michigan. 16140 West 7 Mile Road, Detroit, Michigan 48235. So if you ever in Detroit, Michigan, check out brother Isaiah Orton Bay and his More Herbs shop. His phone number is 313-583-9709. That's area code 313-583-9709. And you can check him out at www.moorherbs.com. The brother is excellent, man. Excellent. So check that out for your needs. And man, I must have spent like $100 at that naturalization ceremony because the Moors are learning how to do business and economic business for themselves. And man, let me tell you, we're really picking up, and I'm really enjoying each naturalization ceremony that I go to. And I just wanted to give that little shameless plug in there, man, to let y'all know I'm very impressed with our naturalization ceremonies. All right, now, before we go into, well, let me go ahead and do this. I know y'all probably not abreast. I gotta get y'all 101s, man, because I need for y'all to join in on that. I think I put them in the chat. I don't know if y'all had a chance to see them, so I'm going to reload those into the WhatsApp chat. If you haven't done so, there's a link on my page for the WhatsApp chat, and you can get access to the Circle 7 Quran, the 101s, and the Humanities pamphlet and your constitutions and bylaws. That's important for you to have, so you can, if you don't catch the live stream, you always catch the playback, and then you're able to follow along with us, okay? So I'm going to go in through some of the keys. I'm going to go in through some of the keys, and then I'm going to go in through our lesson, okay? Islam. Who made you? Allah. Who is Allah? Allah is the Father of the universe. Can we see him? No. Where is the nearest place we can meet him? In the heart. Who is Noble Drew Ali? He is Allah's prophet. What is a prophet? A prophet is a thought of Allah manifested in the flesh. What is the duty of a prophet? To save nations from the wrath of Allah. Who is the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America? Noble Drew Ali. What year was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded? 1913 AD. Where? Newark, New Jersey. Where was Noble Drew Ali born? In the state of North Carolina, 1886. What is his nationality? Moorish American. What is your nationality? Moorish American. Why are we Moorish Americans? Because we are descendants of Moroccans and we're born in America. For what purpose was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded? For the uplifting of fallen humanity. I'm going to yield right here, Moors. What I wanted to talk to y'all about was the brother by the name of Richardson Dinglell and Timothy Dinglell. And I wanted to tie that into keys 13 and 14. Key 13 is, what is your nationality? Moorish American? And key 14, why are we Moorish American? Because we are descendants of Moroccans and born in America. So I'm going to use that foundation today for our Sunday school lesson, okay? I'm going to use that lesson today. Now, what I want to do, tying this into our naturalization ceremony and the purpose of it, because a lot of temples are not on this page. So the purpose of me going live on WhatsApp and doing live stream on Instagram and YouTube is so that way people can get abreast of the process, and then that way you all can do the research and you can read for yourself, and then you be able to rescue your family and your friends. Okay, we deal with the 3 R's in this temple group: is read, research, and rescue. Okay, so I'm going to start here, and I'm going to be talking about Richardson Dingolel and the Moorish Bureau of Vital Statistics. Okay, so this is dealing with our Moorish Bureau, because we have to have a bureau because we're government. Okay, born in America, talking about Richardson Dingolel. He also established through the National Headquarters Selective Services System a program known as the Moorish National Bureau of Vital Statistics, under which people must register according to his example. Okay, and you can go to National Archives in Washington, D.C., and it's under a file number, and that file number is 5-39, record group number 147. Okay, under this system, the United States National Bureau of Vital Statistics and all state bureaus must be purged of the filth of the racial designation of Negroism, and the correct designation of our people as to race Asiatic and the nationality Moorish American must be inserted in lieu of. The only permanent solution to the race problem in America is the complete implementation of Lincoln's executive will and the 13th Amendment with 20 sections, the essence of which can be summarized as follows. Okay, what I want you all to understand and know is that in the public school system and in some private schools, they only teach you about one Emancipation Proclamation. And that's where they give you this 13th Amendment with 2 sections. But what a lot of people don't know is that there was a great conspiracy. And this great conspiracy, what they did is they did away with the 13th Amendment with 20 sections that Abraham Lincoln put in place. And they gave us the 13th Amendment with the 2 sections. And then they came with this 14th Amendment. So what I'm doing here is I'm relating and tying in what the Dingolel brothers did in Baltimore with their research. And they got all this research done by the reincarnated prophet by the name of John Givenshill. And John Givenshill was the limo driver to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So, of course, with John Givenshill being the limo driver of the prophet, they had a lot of very informative and deep conversations about where the prophet wanted to go in the movement. So when the prophet died and Kirkman Bey took a portion and some stayed with Miliel, John Givenshill went on ahead and did the national side of the movement, because this is a divine and national movement. So I'm giving you the national side, what John Givenshill instructed the Dingolel brothers to do. So what they did is they went to the Selective Services System in Washington, D.C., okay, and they used the state papers, which is basically our divine authority, which is his 101, Religious Affidavit 1099, okay, and they use the divine constitutions and bylaws to prove that we are not Negroes, blacks, and colors, but that we are descendants of Moroccans born in America. So this is what I'm reading to you. But if you only know of one Emancipation Proclamation and you don't know of the other 3, this is what I'm giving to you, okay? All right, now, the only permanent solution to the race problem in America is the complete implementation of Lincoln's executive will. So Lincoln had an executive will. And with the 13th Amendment with 20 sections, the essence of which can be summarized as follows. Compensation. The compensation of the descendants of the slave holders for the confiscation of human property, some presently totaling over $500 billion, as well as the compensation of the Moors for the servitude rendering during the decades of servitude. Naturalization. Naturalization, means the registration of all Moors into the Moorish National Bureau of Vital Statistics, through which they can return their European names to the European people, legally proclaim their true free national name and race as Moorish American and race Asiatic, nationality and religion, and be officially declared citizens of the United States by the federal government. Colonization. The colonization of Moors on their own land between the Allegheny and the Rocky Mountains, which Lincoln called Egypt of the West. Okay? All of this was in the executive will of Abraham Lincoln. So the reason why I'm talking about this, these are the things that we should be talking about at all national conventions that we have in Chicago and the conventions that we have in Baltimore. But it also should be discussed at every Friday and Sunday meeting. These are the issues that we should be bringing to Congress. Okay, this is what we should be lobbying for. So we're lobbying for, the buzzword is called reparations for slavery. But the only way we can get the reparations is through getting naturalized. Okay, we have to be naturalized first by this government to become a citizen. Now, when I say this government, I mean the Moorish American National Republic, because they're the only true citizens in this government. Okay, the 14th Amendment is unconstitutional. And the reason why the 14th Amendment is unconstitutional is because it was never ratified by 3/4 of the other states. Okay, and the reason why the Constitution wasn't properly ratified, because when you read the 4th section of the 14th Amendment, the paragraph in there starts off with the validity of public debt shall be null and void. Well, that validity of that public debt was the compensation that was supposed to go to the descendants of slaveholders, which are the Europeans, and the descendants of the slaves, which is us. So if you're making that null and void, Maryland, Virginia, and Kentucky and some of the other states wasn't going to sign off on it on the 14th Amendment because they wanted to get paid for setting the slaves free. So this is what Abraham Lincoln did. So this is why we pushing the Republic as our political platform, because this encompasses everything. Okay, so I'm just going to keep reading. All right. The nation is presently over 109 years late in eradicating this Negro problem that is properly described as a beast. See Charles Carroll, The Negro, a Beast, or the Image of God, published in the year 1900. This beast has constantly threatened the well-being of making this, This beast has consistently threatened the well-being of mankind throughout human history by its determination to violate divine law. It is this same satanic beast which angel in the chapter 20 of Revelation bound in a chain and sealed in the bottomless pit for 1,000 years. That bottomless pit is the misery of the Negroism suffered by Moors for thousands of years that have passed since 990 AD. Their birthrights have been stolen from them via the falsification of vital records of the nation by the European so-called white people. Exactly as Esau's birthrights were stolen from him via his falsification of vital records by his brother Jacob. In other words, the European wrote the lie of the Negro, and the Moors endorsed that lie. Time is long overdue for this evil to be exterminated. Negroes, blacks, coloreds, coons, spooks, etc. cannot be citizens of any nation, can never enjoy the spirituality of life, and can never legally represent real people in Congress of the United States. Hence, they have no legal right to be participants in the hearings of the House Judiciary Committee involving the impeachment of the President of the United States. We call upon you as a spiritual leader of the community to face the boldly truth about the Moors in America and proclaim that the truth wherever and whenever you have the opportunity to speak. We urge you to immediately contact community leaders of your race and discuss with them the entire matter. We implore all persons to whom the people will listen to stand up to the dictates of divine law by uniting in a joint venture to publicize this truth. We are legally demanding the recognition of the birthrights of our people through the complete implementation of the executive will of Lincoln and the 13th Amendment with 20 sections. As Lincoln ardently advocated, the constitutional law must be taught in every school, preached from every pulpit, and proclaimed from every office of government. It is now your responsibility to candidly inform all the people who look for you for sincere leadership. Okay? So this is what we should be doing, pushing for this Moorish National Bureau of Vital Statistics. Okay? And this is what we participate in every year. If you all caught my live stream last week, you saw how everybody was dressed in white. We formed a crescent. And what we did is we took the oath of amnesty and reconstruction to come back into the Union States Republic. So I don't want anybody to get the idea that the Moors are trying to be, some of them do push this language, but I'm letting you know the Moors who are out of Baltimore, who are underneath the leadership and guidance of Timothy Dinglewell and Richardson Dinglewell and Joe Brighton Bay, the Moorish American National Republic, we don't use that sovereignty language. Prophet Noble Drew Ali said that we're part and parcel of the government. So we can't, well, we're part and parcel of the said government, excuse me. So when Prophet Noble Drew Ali said government, he was alluding to the republic as it was and not as it is. If you think about it, we say, I pledge allegiance to the flag, to the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands. Okay, so we're talking about the republic for which it stands. The republic is for the people and by the people. That's the republic. Okay? And that's what the Moors are a part of. That red that's in the American banner, that represents the Moorish flag. And those other 7 stripes that you see, the 6 white stripes that you see, those represent the European nations that came over here to form that agreement. Okay? But you also got to remember, we have the star on our flag, and the European has the star on his flag as well. Well, why is that? Because we are a star nation. That's letting you know that we came here from the stars. We are actually from the star Sirius, okay? And Sirius B is actually where we come from. I know that sounds out of space, but we really are from outer space. You know, we have to deal with the truth and let the chips fall where they may, Moors. And a lot of this is not being taught. So when you look at our flag, it has a green star, and that green star is symbolic and representative of Venus. You know, that's what that stands for, and that's why it's green. Okay? So we have a great history and a great symbolism, but that symbolism is not being taught. Okay? So give me just a brief here, and I want to talk about some things, because we always talk about Moorish science. But part of what Moorish science is the 10 virtues of the ancient Africans. Okay? That's what I want y'all to know, because the prophet said we are descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Well, what are those 10 ancient virtues? So I'm gonna just go through the 10, okay? Control of thought. Don't react. Analyze the situation. You must bring about order if there is none. That's what we're doing with the Moorish Science Temple. We're bringing about order because we don't have any order right now in this government. That's why everything is disarray. You know, the whole insurrection of January 6th is because you got Europeans knowing that this 14th Amendment is a falsehood. And they also know that this 15th Amendment, which gives us our voting rights, is a falsehood. One of the things I want y'all to research and read for yourself, all right, is the fact that every 50 years, they have to give the Negro the right to vote. Well, if the Negro is free, why does the President of the United States have to sign off a voting rights bill in order for us to vote? Either we're free or we're not free. Nobody else, the Mexican, the Nicaraguan, the European, doesn't need a bill when they become citizens to have a right to vote every 50 years. But why do we need one? There's something wrong with that picture. So either the Emancipation Proclamation has freed us, or it didn't, or they are not implementing the full executive will of Abraham Lincoln. Okay? So control of thought. Don't react. Analyze the situation. You must bring about order if there is none. That's control of thought. Okay? Control of action. A direct connection to right thinking. A direct connection to right thinking. Unless one can consistently produce right action, one will not be able to influence others. Boy, that's powerful. I got to read that again. A direct connection to right thinking. Unless one can consistently produce right action, one will not be able to influence others. Steadfastness, fortitude, staying power. If what you're doing is meaningful, then you've got to hang in and stick with it. Over a period of time, others around you will speak of your ability, and you will develop a reputation for being consistent. Everybody and his or her friends, because of the lack of knowledge, will knock what you're about. But as long as you stay with it, you'll grow. As long as you stay with it and benefit, then others will follow. Being steadfast is holding to your principles. Number 4, identify with higher ideals. What makes some people strong while others change from one week to the next, identity with something larger than themselves is what it is. As we examine ourselves, we find that most of what we have been concerned with to the present has been self-centered and petty. Our identity with African people worldwide and throughout time is the highest identity that exists for us. Africa for the African. And this is Egypt of the West. Sound like Garveyism to me, y'all. Evidence of a mission. Our situation is captivity. Speaks of our need to liberate ourselves. Liberation is our mission. Some might say we'll never achieve it in our lifetimes. But we're not concerned with our lifetimes. We're concerned with the liberation and advancement of African people. This means that everyone we come in contact with must be fed something so that the seed of liberation grows with them. Powerful. Evidence of a call to spiritual order. Once you have seen the mission and understand its importance, then you must move in that direction. Some people in the Western culture get saved. We must get conscious and act to fill the needs among our people. No brother, conscious brother or sister can be comfortable until our situation as a people is corrected. Freedom from resentment. Have some courage. The move to freedom calls for change. Change disrupts. Change breaks. Change reassembles. Change redefines. While things are in the process of change, there is no stability, no comfort. For this reason, many avoid change. One who is entitled, however, sees change as a must because the alternative is death for African people. Now comes the conflict. Your parents, family, and friends don't see what you see. You can't follow their path, and they don't see yours. They will act negative towards you as you follow your direction. Only courage will help you stay on your path. And that courage comes from within. That courage will keep you from being resentful against those who don't see. And that same courage will stop the resentment from getting in you and slowing you down. Confidence in the power of the master teacher. We're talking about Prophet Noble Drew Ali and Brother Marcus Garvey. If you have to come to the level where you want to develop change, then the best thing to do is to become the student of someone more advanced in the path of liberation that you want to follow. A master teacher is someone who has demonstrated their attachment to the advancement of our people. Confidence is one of the is one's own leading abilities. The greatest teacher cannot teach unless the student is willing to change. The only thing that prevents change is the unwillingness to change. Powerful. Preparedness for initiation. Once you receive knowledge, you are prepared to act on it and change. The receipt of knowledge is worthless unless change follows. We are continuously receiving knowledge. We must be prepared to continually change and grow with that knowledge. Okay? The 10 virtues of the ancient Africans. So I just wanted to bring this up, something new, but it's something that is ancient, and I feel as though that would help us within our work, right? Because it's been I heard a brother say one time, reminder is always beneficial to the believer. Okay? So at this time, I'm going to open the floor up. You can unmute yourself. If you have any questions or comments or anything like that, we welcome those. I'm going to turn the camera so that way ones can join in. All right. Brother Perez, I know you got some questions from this week, last week, and thus forth. So go ahead and shoot away, more.
Okay. Islam.
Islam.
The one question I have for today is I need some clarification on we are not Ethiopians.
Okay, I got you with that.
When the country still does exist, and you have those people there in that land in Africa called Ethiopia.
Okay, I'm going to answer the question to the best of my ability, and then with that, I'll get some clarity on that. Now, what I understand, during the Prophet's time, when they use Ethiopian, they, when I say they, let me say the European conquering powers, okay? When the European conquering powers colonized and neo-colonized the knowledge, the history, and the language, they grouped everybody as an Ethiopian, okay? Now, according to the Moorish Science Temple teaching, first, Ethiopian means demarcation line, okay? Ethiopia was not used as to say they were a positive self-identity as a proper noun to identify people. It is my understanding the way they, I want to say the European conqueror, the colonizers, okay? The way the colonizers used Ethiopia and the way our ancient ancestors used Ethiopia is two different things. Firstly, they call themselves Abyssinians from Abyssinia. Okay, that's the information that I have for me. And Ethiopic, I think is one term, but I don't believe that the Ethiopians ever called themselves Ethiopians. Ethiopia, but it's a different pronunciation of it. I know what you're saying, but I'm gonna revisit that question and I'm gonna get some answers from some of the other sheiks on that demonstration. But to reiterate, the way the Prophet Noble Drew Ali explained it to us, being Moors of the West, is that Ethiopia is used to say a division line. So it has two terms. The colonizers are using it as a nationality and a race, while Noble Drew Ali said they're using that as a division line because in ancient times it was Old Man Ham and Old Man Cush. Okay. And that was the land of the Hamites, or the land of the Cushites, or the ancient land of Canaan, and not Ethiopia. So the way they're using it is like a 14th Amendment de facto term, and it's not the organic term. It's like Puerto Ricans exist, but the true name for a Puerto Rican is not a Puerto Rican, it's Boricano, right?
Yeah, Body King.
Yeah, Body King, right? Or Taino, right. Something along them lines. So yeah, the Puerto Ricans do exist, but that brand is not the ancient brand of how we identified ourselves as a people. So what I'm going to say is what Noble Drew Ali was doing is he was trying to get us out of the trick of the European psychology and trying to identify from how the European colonizer identified us, which would place us in his jurisdiction underneath that 14th Amendment, and identify ourselves the way our ancestors identified us and not to use their terms. But I will clarify that for you for the benefit of the tape to try to find out why Noble Drew Ali switched it. That's an excellent question. But my demonstration, it's a demarcation line, division line. Islam.
Islam.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Moore. Okay. Yes, sir, Brother Walker. Go ahead. Islam.
Yeah, Brother Wilco. Could I point the brother into a book of the Bible found in Exodus concerning the question?
Okay. What do you want to know about Exodus?
No, I wanted to piggyback on what he asked about Ethiopians and whether we are the same people.
Okay, what's your well, we don't piggyback, Mo, but we can camelback. I got you. All right.
Or we can veggie back.
Yeah, veggie back. Okay. Now what okay, now you brought up the book of Genesis, but what
No, Exodus.
okay, Exodus, what is it exactly that you're trying to make a point of in Exodus?
No, something that he is referencing the difference between us and Ethiopians. In Exodus 11 and 7, it basically was saying, but against any of the children of Israel shall not against man or beast, that you may know that God had put a difference between Egyptians and Israel.
Okay, well, a lot of that, I'ma just say this. Let me go in and let me use what the prophet used. Okay, and then that'll kind of clarify it, because a lot of times when you are a Christian Bible thumper and you come into more science, one of the things you have to realize is how when they created these versions of the Bible and they altered and changed who the original Hebrew Israelite was from who the actual Khazar Jew is, from who the actual children of Hamite and Cam are, to these Zionist Jews, and you get Zionist Jew mixed in with Hebrew and the house of Israelite, and then you go from that to getting mixed in with the Phalashim Jew and the Sephardim Jew, and it can get kind of confusing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm not going to try to make something simple complicated. I'm going to make something complicated seem simple. Okay, so when you ask about the origin, I'm going to read what the prophet wrote, and then I'm going to break it down. Okay. And I'm hearing some music or something like that. So if you could mute your phone, and then when you want a question, unmute it. But I just don't want the background noise for the benefit of the tape, okay? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read from chapter 46. Okay, this is coming out of the Circle 7 Holy Quran. And I'm going to tie this into how are the Egyptians and the house of Israel related. Okay? Let me read this to you, okay? It says here, chapter 46, Egypt, the capital empire of the dominion of Africa. So you got to remember there are two Africas. There's Africa of the West, which they now call Middle East, right? Where you got their Ethiopia, Mali, Niger, Chad, Sudan, right? In Liberia, Libya, right? In the Congo and Zaire. That's Egypt of the West. But then that's Egypt of the East. But then you also have Egypt of the West, which is the United States, North America, and South America, and Central America. Okay? So Noble Drew Ali is giving us a key here. He said Egypt, the capital empire of the dominion of Africa. So we're not just talking about one Egypt. We're talking about both of them. So we got to expand our consciousness here, okay? The inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. Okay? The inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. So we got to go back to Canaan. Old man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan. Now, I know when you talk about Canaan, you're thinking about over in Iraq and Turkey and the Fertile Crescent. But actually, when you come into the Moorish Science Temple teaching, you learn that Canada is actually Canaan land. Okay. At one time, yeah, when all the land masses were one land mass, Canada is actually where Canaan is. Okay. Now, Old Man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan. His father Ham and his family were second. Okay. Then came the word Ethiopia. His father Ham and his family were second. Then came the word Ethiopia, which means demarcation line of the dominion of Amexem, the first true and divine name of Africa. So we don't even call Africa Africa. We call Africa Amexem, because that's the first true and divine name of Africa, the dividing land between father and son. Now, Amexem sound like Mexico, America and Mexico put together. Okay? Amexem, a Mexico, America, America and Mexico, the first true and divine name of Africa, the dividing land between father and son, the dominion of Cush, northeast and southeast Africa. Okay? So when we talk about the Ethiopians, they were called Cushites. There's a book out called The True Land of the Ethiopian Cushite Empire by Drusilla Dundee Houston. Pardon the butter. Okay? I'm going to say that one more time for the tape. The dominion, we got to talk about where did they live? The dominion of Cush, northeast and southeast Africa, and northwest and southwest Africa, was his father's dominion of Africa. So the Ethiopians didn't even call themselves Ethiopians. They called themselves Cushites. So Ethiopia is a misnomer, ain't it? They are dividing the people, aren't they? They're dividing them in the mind when we're all the same bloodline. There's no difference between a Canaanite and a Cushite and a Hamite. It's father and son. Okay? Father and son. All right? The dominion of Cush, northeast and southeast Africa, and northwest and southwest was his father's dominion of Africa. In later millenniums, 50,000 years later, 100,000 years later, okay? In later years, many of their brethren from Asia, Asiatics, and the Holy Lands joined them, okay? In later years, many of their brethren, see how Noble Drew Ali's calling them brethren, from Asia and the Holy Lands, lands with an S, joined them. The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle in northwest Africa. Didn't I just read in my introduction that the United States is known as Egypt of the West? But when Christopher Columbus came here to the United States, when he came, my partner body, Christopher Columbus never came to the United States. Christopher Columbus came to South America. He came to Cuba. And when Christopher Columbus came to Cuba, which is northwest Africa, he found Moors here who had, Christopher Columbus said that when he came to South America, he found people here who spoke Arabic, and he had to get an Arabian translator, and they had this symbol around their necks. They had this symbol around their necks. Okay? This is an ancient symbol. This is what Christopher Columbus said the people in Cuba had around their necks. Okay? And in so-called Puerto Rico. And they spoke Arabic. This is what they had around their necks. Okay? So the Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit northwest Africa, but he's talking about northwest the United States. They were the founders and are the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire. We're talking about the empire, Moors. Okay? With their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren. So we came here to the Moroccan Empire with the Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren. But we still Israelites. Now, Brother Perez has got the book. Okay? But a lot of y'all don't have this book. Brother, you can order this book. Brother Roker. This book right here is I'm showing you the Moorish Empire. This is the Moorish Empire. Okay? This is the Moorish Empire. I'm not talking about the Kingdom of Morocco. We're talking about the empire. And they had to get permission. They had to get permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to come to the United States, Moors, and Canada. Okay, 50 million years ago. Do you understand? You can get this book for $25 plus $6 shipping and handling. This is called Moorish Times. Okay? This is the book. This is the cover of the book. Okay? Now I'm answering the brother's question about Exodus and how are we Israelites, but I gotta lay the foundation of where the empire is and how the bloodline is established. So I can't just answer the question, yes, no, I don't know, I get back next week. This is why I'm saying you have to read and you have to research. The information is here, but Noble Drew Ali left it in pieces and puzzles so we could all put it together for ourselves, because if the colonizer knew how the information was, he would come in and scatter the information like he did with the Bible. So this is why Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish science set everything up the way he did. So I'm going to continue reading about the Moabites and the house and the land of Israel and the house of David. This is why we go over the one-on-ones, Moors. Okay? Now, the dominion of Cush, northeast and southeast Africa, northwest and southwest, was his father's dominion of Africa. In later years, many of their brethren from Asia and the Holy Lands joined them. The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit northwest Africa, which is Egypt of the West, talking about the United States and Canada and South America. Okay? They were the founders and the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire with their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan seeking new homes. Okay, their dominion and inhabitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa, across the great Atlantis, even into the present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico, and the Atlantis Islands, before the great earthquake which caused the Atlantic Ocean. I'm going to read that again. Their dominion. So they didn't just live in one area. Are we clear? They didn't live in one area. Their dominion and inhabitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa across the great Atlantis, even into the present North, South, Central Americas, also Mexico and Atlantis Islands, before the great earthquake which caused the Atlantic Ocean. The river Nile was dredged and made by the ancient pharaohs of Egypt in order to trade with the surrounding kingdoms. Also, the Niger River was dredged by the great pharaoh of Egypt in those ancient days for trade, and extends eastward from the Nile River westward across the great Atlantic. The Nile River, which is the Mississippi River, extends westward across the great Atlantic and was used for trade and transportation. According to all true and divine records of the human race, there is no Negro, black, or colored race attached to the human family. So when you go around talking about peace, black man, the black man is the original Asiatic black man. The prophet said, according to all true and divine records. So we got to go back to when our people was ancient and divine on the ancient Egyptian pyramids and the hieroglyphs. On those true and divine records of the human race. The human race. There was no Negro. There was no black man or colored man race attached to the human family, because all inhabitants of Africa, and we do come from Africa, we are the foundational Africans, okay? All inhabitants of Africa were and are of the human family. Are of we are pardon the body, Africans. We are of the human race, descendants of ancient Canaanite nation, from the holy land of Canaan. What your ancient forefathers were, you are today, without doubt or contradiction. Okay, now going in with your question about Israel, Brother Roker, can you hear me? I'm gonna answer your question, Brother Roker. Can you hear me? Prophet gave this to us in the 101, but I'm going to read it to you for the benefit of the tape. Okay, now the prophet asked the prophet asked us Moorish this question. Question number 27 in your 101s. Question number 27 in your 101s. The prophet said this: will you give in brief the line, genealogy through which Jesus came? Some of the great fathers through which Jesus came are Abraham, Boaz by Ruth, Jesse, King David, Solomon, Hezekiah, and Joseph by Mary. That's the lineage. That's the lineage from which Jesus came. That's the lineage of the true Hebrew, Canaanite, Moabite that is talked about in Exodus. Is that clear? Okay, so we can tie ourselves in, not as black people, not as Negro people, but as being from the bloodline and the lineage of the Holy Land of Canaan, with old man Cush and his father Ham, okay, with the Canaanite, Amorite, Hittite brethren, and we understand how Egypt is the capital empire of the dominion of Africa, which is Africa of the East and Africa of the West. Okay? Next question. Go ahead, Islam. Good questions, Morris. Good questions. Any more questions? Unmute yourself, Moore. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
That's it for me for right now.
Okay, and now let me say this too, Brother Roker, because a lot of people get turned around. They say, well, I'm part Cherokee, I'm part Blackfoot, I'm part Indian, Navajo, etc. That's good. That's good. But those are tribes. Those are tribes. Okay, Cherokee is a tribe. Blackfoot is a tribe. Navajo is a tribe. Seminole is a tribe. But what is the origin of those tribes? Well, the prophet Noble Ali gave us the origin. He said the origin of that is Moabite. It all goes back to Moabite. All of it. It all goes back to Moabite. And that's the secret that they're hiding from us, that the prophet Noble Ali gave us when he said Moors are the descendants of the ancient Moabites. We're the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. That covers everything. Because if you got the river Nile that came all the way from Niger and it comes across the great Atlantic Ocean and then it comes across the North, South, and Central America, who are we? We're the same people in the East that we were in the West, but we are divided up into tribes. But we're the same bloodline. We're not a different people because you moved from the east side of town to the west side of town. We're the same people. A Barbados person, from a person that's Bayesian from Barbados, or a person that comes from the Bahamas, is no different from an Asiatic person that lives in Jamaica. And the person in Jamaica is no different from a person that lives in Cat Island. And the person that's from Cat Island is no different from the person that's from Freeport. And the person that's from Freeport is no different from a Borincano that lives in New York. And a person that's a Borincano in New York is no different from a Borincano that's in New Jersey or Chicago. We the same people. You just moved. So if you moved 50,000 years ago, we all still got the same relatives. You just live in a different location. Oh well, I'm kin to grandma through my granddaddy's side or through my father's side, but through my mother's side, I'm tied in this way. We are the same people. But if you can't go back through the ancient record of ancient Kemet and find out who you are, not ancient Egypt, because we didn't use the word Egypt, we used the word Kemet, right? So you got to go back to the Kemetic record and find out who you are, right? And that's how this works, Morris. That's how this works. Okay. Any more questions? And please mute your phone because I hear music and ice cream truck in the background or something. Brother Roker, you got any more questions? Okay. Okay. Everybody, please mute your phone because I'm hearing background noise. Okay. The thing is that Noble Drew Ali had us first tie in who we are as Moabites because he already knew that the Negro mind, the black mind, the African American mind would tell you that's not who you are, right? So in question number 27, when he asks you, will you give in brief the genealogy, that's important because your genealogy is validated by your descent nature, okay? That's why your genealogy is important because you have to know your descent nature. But if you're only a descendant of a Negro that was put in a slave camp by Queen Isabella and Franz Ferdinand, or by the conquistadors or the conquering powers of Rome, then you don't know yourself because they burned the books, right? So you can only go back maybe 500 or 600, 700 years when you worked on a sugarcane plantation. And we got more history than that. Talking about you came from the plantation, we got way more history than that. So our history didn't start with slavery. It interrupted it, okay? And Noble Drew Ali is taking us back further. But we got to go back to the ancient record. So the Aquarian record is the Aquarian gospel is one record that we go through. And yes, we do go through the Bible, but the Bible is truth and falsehood strangely mixed. So like Friday, when you asked the question, how do we feel about the Bible? We feel good about it for the good that's in it, but we feel bad about it for the lies they tell in it. You understand what I'm saying? But we can use it for our benefit because we know that we're Moabites. And Moabite is the fourth grandmother of Jesus, great grandmother, but it's also Father Abraham. Abraham was an Israelite. Abraham was also a Muslim. So was King Solomon, right? The Star of David. He was a Hebrew. Because what does the name Hebrew mean? Hebrew means those who cross the water, right? That's what Hebrew means. Those who and we did cross the water. We crossed the Great Atlantis. We did do that. Okay? So our terminologies and definitions have to change. Are we Ethiopians? No. But are we Canaanites? Yes. Are we of the land of the bloodline of Cush? Yes. We have to be a little bit more definitive. That's why I said we have to research. We have to read. And then once we research, we read, then we can rescue ourselves from the colonizing of the information that they've put on our minds. That's the purpose of the Sunday school. But that's good questions. I'm not mad. It's just, I guess when I'm teaching, I've used the inflation in my voice and I try to be emphatic to make a point because going to these public school systems, they did a number on our minds with this indoctrination. And what they indoctrinated us with was simply not true. They got a book out now called The Lies That My History Teacher Told Me. But the thing is, they coming forth with all the truth, but how you going to erase all the poison that you didn't put in these people's minds for over 400 centuries? Or 4 centuries, 400 years. Okay? So that's all. Those are good questions. And other people got them questions. Why are we not Ethiopians? Because that's not the name how the ancestors define themselves, right? Saying Ethiopian today is no different than saying Negro and black, right? Because they'll tell you the Ethiopians is saying I'm Amharic or Amharish, I am Djibouti. You know what I mean? They don't just want to be grouped in as ambiguous group. You know, everybody has their own identity. Yes, to a larger extent, we are African. We are, but we can't claim the whole continent. We are a descendant of a Moroccan born in America. And even before that, we are descendants of the ancient Canaanites. We are ancient people. But this black and Negro is something they done created over the past 500, 600 years. That's a new term, and that can't define who we are. You know, and it doesn't connect us to the human family or connect us to our great illustrious past. Okay, so with that, I'm not going to belabor the point. You know, unless you all got some more questions, I'm going to go ahead and close, and we can go ahead and enjoy our day. Okay, but before we do, it's always customary that I read the warning. Prophet said that we must read the warning at each meeting. Okay. So we know who we are, and we don't have to speak radical against any member of any organized group. Now, if Kanye West and Kyrie Irving would have said that they are of the ancient Canaanites, Hebrews, and Moabites, and had that eel or that bay on their name, which are those ancient Hebrew Jewish titles, they wouldn't have had no problems, and nobody would have said about it. But he's calling himself Kyrie Irving. He's not Kyrie Irving Bay or Kanye West eel. You know what I mean? They still property of Irving and Mr. Smith. Whether you are a Muslim, Sunni Muslim, or Shiite Muslim, or how conscious you are, if you're not conscious enough to proclaim your nationality and have your free national name, those Zionist Jews are going to claim the identity of Israel and Hebrew, and you don't even know how to stand on anything else but just saying that you're a black man and you are the original man. You are the original man, but you can't say original and black in the same sentence. Because organic and ancient as we are, as the term Asiatic is, when you put black with it, you cancel out the Asiatic and the original with it. So you can't, it's like saying I have an original copy. Either you have the original or you have a copy. You can't have an original copy. It's an oxymoron, right? You know, so if the reason why Kyrie Irving and Kanye West are in the media right now is simply because they're partially trying to wake other conscious Asiatics up and to let them know, hey, stand up to your colonizers, stand up to your oppressors. Okay, that's what that is. So the whole demonstration done cut off on the WhatsApp because they already know what's happening. So let me go ahead and call these ones back. Okay. Islam. Y'all see that happens once we get conscious and I really start moving. The spirit cut everything off, but it's still all good. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and read the warning. Friday, January 13th, 1929, the divine warning of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members they must end all radical agitating speeches. While at work, in their homes, or on the streets, we are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are love, truth. We are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice then must take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the laws as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting the prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet to the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways by the order of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Okay? What I'm going to do right now is customary that we always recite the Asiatic covenant. You know, the reason why I go over these things, it might be redundant to some, but it is a divine reminder to most that we actually do have a covenant, that the Moors do have an ancient and custom that we do. And the more we recite these, the more we recite the things that we hold dear to ourselves, our generations of children will say, Mommy and Daddy always used to recite this holy Asiatic covenant. So we have to start practicing these things ourselves. Even if I'm in the bedroom by myself with two brothers online, I'm going to still demonstrate the highest principles. When nobody's looking or when nobody's looking, I got to be Moorish. That's the whole benefit of it. One day somebody going to pick this up and see it and say, man, them brothers was demonstrating and using social media for what it was supposed to be used for, to bring us together as a people and a nation. A holy covenant of the Asiatic nations. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother have given you suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. All right. Now, Moors, it is customary that we well, let me do this first. I gotta continue to close. Pardon the body, I'm moving kind of fast. All right. The fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation of North America need to learn to love instead of hate, and to know their higher self and lower self. This is the uniting of the Holy Quran of Mecca for the teaching and instructing of all Moorish Americans, etc. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, know yourself and your Father God Allah, that you may learn to love instead of hate. Every man need to worship under his own vine and fig tree. Now, all of those who wish to pray with us may do so. If not, you may always stand in silent benediction. We teach in Islam that there is no compulsion. So we don't force anybody to become Islamic, force anybody to take their Shahada. It's always been done on their own free will and accord. Okay? So all of those who wish to pray with us may do so. 2 fingers on the right hand, which are symbolic of the 2 angels that never fail because their will was so strong they stayed in tune with Allah. And 5 on the left, which represent man, earth, protoplasm, plant, and beast. Those that did fall and came into human manifest on this fleshly plane that we call earth. Repeat after me. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Islam Moors. Join me next week here. I'm going to move the time up because I got a constraint with my job. So I was doing 2 to 4:30, but now I'm going to have to do 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to thank you all so much. I love you all. Like I said, for those that do want to proclaim your nationality, you simply just DM me and let me know that you want to proclaim. You can make an intent with me online. You can make an intent to proclaim your nationality online. But just because you make your intent, that doesn't complete the process. You have to go through 3 classes, and then you become a citizen of the Moorish American National Republic. And then once you come into our jurisdiction, then you're able to take the classes, and then you become a citizen of the Republic form of government, which is part and parcel of the United States. Then you're under our jurisdiction and under our charter and under the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's divine authority and the emancipation proclamations that are signed and recognized in as part of the Constitution of the United States of America. Now, Brother Perez, just for the record, we still live. Did you want to make your intent this week, right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
go ahead, brother, and state for the record and let the record show what you would wish to proclaim according to Act 6 of the Moorish Science Temple Divine Constitutions and Bylaws, Islam.
Islam. I, Clyde Perez L., am declaring I am a Moorish American.
Islam. Also, too, do you bear witness that there's only one God but Allah?
Yes.
Okay, and do you bear witness that the Holy Quran of Mecca is our holy book?
Yes.
Do you also bear witness that Prophet Muhammad of the East is the last prophet for the Arabians?
Yes.
And that Honorable Prophet Noble Drew Ali is the prophet of the West here in the Americas to save the Asiatic nation?
Yes.
Islam.
Yes.
Do you bear witness that we recognize all prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius?
Yes.
Islam. Islam. Brother Perez, were you under any type of threat, duress, or coercion during this proclamation?
No, sir.
Are you under any drugs or any kind of influences?
No, sir.
Okay. You affirm?
I affirm.
Now, do you know how we affirm, Brother Perez? We place our right hand over our left. Islam? Okay. State that again for the record, brother. Islam?
I affirm.
That you are?
Moorish American.
Islam. So now this is how we're doing that. This is live. I am Sheikh Brother J. Parallel. My temple is registered here in Indianapolis, Indiana. I do have a virtual temple. The brother just made his affirmation here, and he is going to take the classes online at www.moorishamericannationalrepublic.com. There's a drop-down box, and you can make an application for citizenship. So what I do is I post this, and I state this for the record, okay, that the brother did make his proclamation and state his status online. He made an intent. This is the intent, okay? So I don't want you to think I'm running some sort of cloak and dagger. You can make an intent, okay, which does help, but you still want to take those courses and be involved in the naturalization ceremony. Then once after you pay your fees, each class is $125, and you can speak with the registrar. You can work out a payment plan to get on the plan. Once you receive your paperwork, then you are officially a citizen. So if you have already gone through the naturalization ceremony, but you have not taken the classes and paid your fees, you're still not officially a citizen yet. You have to complete the whole process to be a citizen of the Moorish American National Republic. Okay? So as we say, anything that I have said that was offensive, I do apologize for that. That was my lower self. Anything that I have said that you could utilize that was good, I say all praises due to Allah for that. That was not me, but that was Allah. I thank you, Brother Perez. I thank you, Brother Roker. I give honors to our grand body, honors to all things Moors. I give honors to you for honoring the house of Drew. And with that, I say Islam, Moors, and peace. I see you next week, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Sundays, 8:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. on Fridays. And I'm working on a law class that we can do where we can learn law as well, just the basics, Moors. Islam and peace. I'll see you soon.
Islam. Islam.